All right, what we'll be looking at is the calibration panel in room 132. We have, and I'm going off of the handout, we have 3 air connections right here. They are fed from this 20 psi fixed air regulator. These are crimp connections or compression fittings, to where there's a nut on the fitting itself. There's a nut and there's a plastic piece inside there. And as you insert the plastic tubing into it, you'll put it onto the plastic fitting first and then slide it through just a small amount. And when you push it onto the air fitting, and you can hear the air coming out now, and it's not, and now it is, you push the tubing on there, slide the nut up the piece of tubing, hand tighten it, and it will stay there. It is secure now and it won't pop out. And that's how you get the air out of those fittings. You just simply pull the fitting off, pull the nut off in the plastic tubing and replace the nuts so we don't lose them. The next thing we have is a push connection fitting, which is behind the board, fed to this gauge right here. This is a 0 to 30 psi gauge. These are, like I said, push to connect. So you simply push the piece of tubing in there and it is secure. Once you put in whatever pressure, you're going to be reading it off of this gauge. It's a read-only gauge. Now, to get the piece of tubing out of there, you have to push the little plastic collar and simply pull the fitting or the tubing out of the fitting then. The next one we have is this fitting right here. This one is an adjustable air output. This is where we're going to be receiving or setting our pneumatic settings for the sensor on our pressure transmitters. This is a regulator. As you turn the knob on this clockwise, you start increasing the air, and I'll put my finger over it, you start increasing the air coming out of that fitting, and it's set by this gauge up on top of it. And the same thing as the other one. This is a push to connect fitting, so you just simply push the tubing in there. You increase the pressure where you want it, and before you pull the tubing off the fitting like that, you have to decrease the pressure all the way to 0. Otherwise, we're going to continuously blow air out of this fitting. The next fitting over is this one here. This is a read-only also. This one is tubed into the 0 to 15 psi gauge. It's a read-only also. So these are the 3 gauges that we'll be using, and these are the air fittings and what their designated use is.